Hey Ash Lickers, how are you today? Good to see you. You caught me in the middle of my workout. This is my weight room. These are my fucking weights. I have about 3 sets of these fucking bands because I refuse to go to the gym until there's a cure. And so I'm stuck using these fucking things, which means I have to do about 500 fucking reps per set. So if I'm breathing heavily, it's not because you look sexy today. No, you do. But it's because of these fucking bands. Anyway, that interesting thing being said, so I recently posted on how we know when it's time to make a change or which direction to go when we're considering a change. How do we know? And I got some feedback from different people, and one of the questions that I was asked is, Sven, are there other ways to know? What signs should I be looking for from the universe? What signs? How do you know what direction to choose? And one of the things that I said to this particular person was, you're asking the wrong question. Not that are there other ways to know, but what signs should I be looking for from the universe or from God or around me, from nature? You know, if you believe in signs, and this person obviously does. I said, you're asking the wrong question. The signs aren't outside of you. I believe that, and I've seen it, and I've worked with people from this fundamental premise that at the core of who we are, and you've probably heard me say it before, at the core of who we are, at our soul, at the bedrock of who we are, and yes, there is bedrock, that our voice becomes indistinguishable from the voice of the universe speaking. I truly believe that. And the more we are in communion with that voice, the more our life becomes in flow, that we find our place in the universe, and we live from that center. So if you're looking for, so the wrong question is looking for signs outside of you. That's not to say that they can't come occasionally, but if you're looking outside of you, my response is, why aren't you looking inside of you? That the answers are within. And very often what causes us to look for answers outside of us is that anxiety of, I gotta know, I gotta know, I gotta know. We become impatient. But looking inside of us, one of the ways to look inside of us, and in fact, I believe it's one of the biggest ways when looking inside of us, is simply reading our energy. And one of the things I tell people quite regularly is, when you're on a path that is not you, the smallest amount of work requires the greatest amount of effort. I'm talking about career, I'm talking about a relationship, I'm talking about any sort of thing that you're engaged in your life. Even your fitness, for instance. Now there are days where I don't fucking want to do it, and it's just like this massive fucking drag. And then there are days like today where it's like, all right, I got good flow today, you know, I had a good night of rest, etc., etc. You know, but I'm not talking about temporary fluctuations. I'm talking about patterns over time. That if you're in a relationship where even the slightest thing requires the most amount of effort, where there's just constant labor, it's not your relationship. It's not your friendship. If you're in a career where you have to fucking conjure up energy just to fucking get out of your fucking car and walk across the parking lot and go to work. Or you have to conjure up energy during the pandemic just to go through another fucking Zoom meeting or whatever it is. If the least amount of work requires the most amount of energy, it is not your path. Whatever it is we're talking about in your life. Yet when you're on your path, the most amount of work requires the least amount of effort, requires the least amount of energy. That there's a natural flowing excitement. And yet, that's not to say you're not working. That's not to say you're not exerting effort. But it's just like you get so much more done because you love what the fuck you're doing. And you're excited. It's like, I just want to work harder. I love it. So again, one of the ways to know is to monitor your own energy. If the least amount of work requires the most amount of effort, you're not on your path. If the most amount of work requires little or the least amount of effort, you're on your path. But here's the problem. And this is why I don't ask people, well, what do you want? I rarely ask that question to people, because what you want is in your head. That's a head question. And it tumbles around. Sometimes it's a hard question. I'm passionate about this. But saying you're passionate about something versus what do I want, that's when it shifts from the heart up into the head. And that's not a good place to be charting, sort of making the macro decision of the direction of your life. The head is what we use to execute that. But long directions and big decisions come from the heart. And so I don't ask people, what do you want, very often. I want to move them out of there. Instead, I ask them the question, and this sounds dopey, but I say, what feels yucky? And I put it in fucking 3-year-old terms, yucky. And they tell me, well, this, and this. And I said, those are the things you need to divest yourself of. And then it's about what excites you, or what brings a sense of calm. Those are the paths you want to be on, because those are the ones that are going to naturally energize you, where you can do this much work for this much energy. So that's another way, is begin to read your own energy. Begin to look inside for the answers rather than looking for signs outside of you. Your true power source is inside of you, and you got to clear away the debris, which is why I recommend journaling and meditation and reading my last book. There's a hole in my love cup, which takes you through everything that I do in my counseling. Also, you can go to my website, badasscounseling.com, and go to the DIY Badass, do-it-yourself badass. And there are courses there where it's me talking and taking you through everything that I would take any one of my clients through, and it's covered in my books, but it's much more interactive. It's like this. Anyway, all of that said, I'm having a lovely day. I hope you are having a lovely day. And yeah, start reading your energy. Start reading it more and more, and start letting go of. That's the thing with that wanting. Oh, but I really want this. I really want this. Until you can let go of it. Even if you see how much energy you're exerting, you have to let go of that which you think you want, trusting that the universe and your own soul is leading to something maybe you didn't even realize you wanted, or your own soul is trying to let go of that which is secure to take you to what would really energize you. It's letting go of what we think we want and trusting that our energy is leading us in an exciting new direction. So have a kick-ass day, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Skål.